We've just had a delightful spirit. People have engaged, had kind of refreshments, had an opportunity just to relax. And now we're going to call everybody to order for our cash announcement. Baltimore CASH Campaign, part of the Maryland CASH Campaign. A series of persons who are here who, one, understand it from the 50,000-foot level, but also we understand it from the ground level. And so I turn this over to Sarah. We'll call those that are a part of our, okay, we're getting there. Please, we have two of the most distinguished members of the House of Representatives here, and they are coming. So Sarah, are you ready? All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see, we have quite a panel of distinguished guests here today, and I want to thank all of them for being with us and helping us kick off tax season in style. My name is Sarah Johnson, and I'm the director of the Baltimore CASH Campaign. For anyone in this room who doesn't know, CASH stands for Creating Assets, Savings, and Hope. 2017 marks our 16th year providing free tax preparation and asset building services in Baltimore City. That's a long time, sweet 16. I've personally been involved for 14 of those years, so everyone in this room knows I'm pretty committed to this work and these issues. Today also marks National Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Month, or Awareness Day. Hundreds of organizations like Baltimore CASH around the country are lifting up their voices to make sure people know about the Earned Income Tax Credit and the valuable money it puts back in people's pockets. Since 2001, we have served 113,000 low-income households with free tax preparation services. That's a lot of families. And a lot of those families have gone deeper and taken advantage of some of our financial education and financial coaching work as well to really set goals for their future and achieve them. As a coalition, our tax preparation partners, and many of you are here today, thank you for being here. We have helped families receive over $200 million in refunds and tax credits. It's pretty impressive. The stat that I'm pretty proud of, too, is that we've saved families over $15 million in fees because they've come to these places like here at Union Baptist Church, to get their taxes done for free. This work is really impressive. They're great numbers. I know all my funders in the room love all these data points and my reports coming to you soon. But there's more I think we could be doing to promote an inclusive economy here in Baltimore City. IRS data indicates that over 20,000 households just here in Baltimore City alone are not claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit. This is money we're leaving on the table. It's about $24 million we're leaving on the table just here in Baltimore City because people aren't claiming. I've been really amazed and impressed by the number of organizations, businesses, and community leaders and partners that have joined with us in this effort to promote tax preparation and a fair and just economy here in Baltimore City. I especially want to thank the folks from One Man Financial. Trish Weaver, thank you so much for coming today to be with us at our press conference. They've been funding our efforts here at Union Baptist Church to make sure we can provide the service here. I also want to especially thank Sheldon Kaplis, who's the chair of our board, who at his time at One Main really made it happen. So thank you so much, Sheldon, for your leadership and vision. This tax site alone has served over 600 families each year. It's been a tremendous blessing to this community and to our overall work. I think it's really important that while the cameras are rolling, we say our tax sites are open now. We serve anyone who made $54,000 or less. That's an individual or a family. They can make an appointment by calling 410-234-8008. And when that phone rings, it goes to the United Way. And folks there at the call center, Sandra, I see you're here, do a great job of answering those calls and also connecting people to other services is really important. It's a great partnership, and we really appreciate our partnership with the United Way of Central Maryland. Lastly, I want to sincerely thank my staff. Where are y'all? Raise your hands, don't be shy. Rob Bader, thank you. These folks work their tails off getting tax sites up and running. There's one running right here at the corner here. If you're interested to go see what it looks like live and in action, I thank you all so much for your dedication to our work. This is a really busy time of year, and it's really wonderful to have such a great team to work with. I also want to thank GVE Media, who has also been working her tail off to make sure that all these lovely cameras are here and the electeds are here so we can get the word out. We want to make sure we're reaching families who need these services. And I thank you all for your cooperation and partnership, and I look forward to working with you throughout the year on these critical issues. I want to welcome and thank Reverend Hathaway. There he is. If you'd like to come and say a few words.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is just delightful to be a part of this network, which really fits our mission. Our mission is to serve, to empower people in the beloved community. And one of the areas in which we just had a direct synergy was around dealing and addressing with exploitation of people who are poor. This program, which service, finds ourselves right in the midst of a community where people are exploited, but we amplify the last character of CASH, which is hope. We're providing hope to the community as a part of our mission, and we're so happy to be a part of this. Let me just tell you a brief story. It was a year ago, I had the opportunity to meet a young lady who was kind of tentative of coming to our corner where the service is provided. She needed to get her finances in order. She needed to get her returns in order, and the people there were able to help her. She had 3 children. And after their assistance in terms of her compliance and her filings, she discovered that she was due a $10,000 refund from the federal government. And during this time, which is just amazing to me, is that during this period of time, you were able to purchase a paper savings bond. So she purchased a $1,000 savings bond for each of her children. And I know I can just imagine their faces when she handed them and showed them that, here, you have $1,000. Now, they don't know that they got to wait 7 years, but still, it's a good thing to know that this builds savings and the idea of savings into the families in this community. And for that, I'm so happy, and our church is so proud to be a part of this network. We are expanding. We had 600 families. We're going to do 900 this year with the grace of those above. All right? Thank you. And so all my colleagues and representatives, we do bless them. We do thank my Internal Revenue Service Commissioner for coming. Indeed, all of you that's coming as well, you are welcome in this place.
Thank you so much, Reverend Hathaway. I first met Reverend Hathaway when I was invited to go on a bus tour here in the community, because this is a promised neighborhood, and toured the church, and the Reverend said, we're looking for more partners and more services here in the community, and it just blossomed from there. So we are really grateful to expand our services in this community and our partnership together. I want to welcome April Bradley, who is my birthday twin. We're both January 3rd birthdays. Not the same year, very, very different year. I'll let you guys figure that one out. So April is a former client with Baltimore CASH and has agreed to come once again to share her story and her journey in working with Baltimore CASH. So April.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm not here to sell you on Baltimore CASH free tax preparation services. It's free. It's literally saving you $500, and that's the easiest sell ever. What I would like to share with you is my personal experience of being a client of Baltimore CASH Campaign for 5 years now. So what a lot of people, I don't know if they know that Baltimore CASH Campaign provides a lot more than just free tax services. They offer financial literacy tools and just a lot of different ways to help you make better financial decisions, which they helped me do myself. So it did start with me purchasing savings bonds, and it started off with $300 the first year, and the next year I raised it to $1,000, and the next year I just went ahead and my whole federal return, I was able to just purchase savings bonds for my kids. Just because it's so much easier to save money when you don't see it.
That's right. That's right.
So the saving bonds also did more than that. They provided me with reassurance that I was prepared for any emergencies that will come or anything that I know that I have those savings bonds in my safe and they're there if I need them, and hopefully it'll never come to that. But they also changed my mindset. I started to save in ways that I never thought before. Every time an emergency would come up or that can't miss Black Friday sale would come up, and I would get tempted and want to reach for my savings bonds, and I would think myself, is it worth it? Is it worth me starting over and having to restock my savings bonds? And most of the time, all the time, it wasn't. So in that aspect, one day I finally found a reason to cash my savings bonds and to nearly deplete all of my savings in my account. In November 2016, I became a first-time homeowner. Not only had I purchased my first home, I purchased it completely on my own in full. No rent, no mortgage, just solely cash purchase. My saving skills are now even more important as I know that I still need to pay rent. I just need to pay it to me. And so now this year when I go to Money Power Day, I will be talking to the counselors about the future, because it's no longer just me living paycheck to paycheck. It's me. I now have extra money to plan for the future. I have money to look into, put into my children's college education funds who are sitting here, right here. I have money to look into, put into my 401k. And I now have a little bit of extra money to look into purchasing some stocks to try to increase that extra revenue that I have. So I just want to say I'm not rich. I don't live in a mansion, but I am so happy and I'm so thankful. And there is no amount of shoes or designer bags that could have made me feel as happy as I am now. So I would just like to thank everyone, as far as Sarah, the staff, all the volunteers, everyone who comes out for Money Power Day, the vendors, the organizations. If no one has told you, you make a difference. You made a difference with me. And I thank you.
So thank you so much, April, for coming and sharing your story. April emailed me when she purchased her home, and it was so nice to get such a great email during this busy time of year and reminding us of what great work we do. So thank you for sharing your story. I'd like to thank and welcome Congressman Elijah Cummings. He's such a great supporter of our work, and for being here once again at our press conference and kickoff. Congressman Cummings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's certainly my honor and my privilege to be here, and I want to, first of all, start by thanking my elementary school, middle school, high school mate, Reverend Hathaway. Thank you for never forgetting from whence you've come. Thank you for constantly lifting up our community. I don't know of many ministers who spend more time lifting up our community than you do. And so I really, give him a hand, please. I really appreciate you. To the CASH campaign and to everybody, Sarah and everybody else, and all of our sponsors, to Sheldon, thank you very much for your leadership. It is tremendous, without a doubt. And this is so important. If we ended this program this morning with just what she said, that was loaded. That was loaded with so much. And let me just break it down a little bit further. What the CASH campaign has done for April, it has changed the trajectory of her destiny. Oh my God. Changed it, and part of it, Hathaway, is because they have volunteers who care. See, not everybody can tell you about your finances and you feel comfortable enough to even feel comfortable to talk to them. And not only that, they know that these are folks that are trying to elevate them, to make their lives better. My mother used to always say, it's nothing like a person who don't know what they don't know. And so what the CASH campaign does too is it helps to inform people about what they don't know. But it does something else, and April, you couldn't have said it any better. What it does is it increases the expectations in life of people. April probably wasn't even thinking about buying no house. Huh? She wasn't even thinking about buying no house. Couldn't even imagine herself saving some money. I know, I've been there. Couldn't even imagine it. But now she's got her savings bonds. You had me on the edge of my seat. I got to tell you, April, when you said you cashed in them savings bonds, I hope my girlfriend, I wonder what she said for that. And then when you said the house, I said, oh, praise the Lord. But that's what it's all about. And I'll bet you April will tell you something else. I didn't hear her say this, but I bet you she'll tell you this. She has learned that you don't have to go and buy a lot of material things. And she's learned that maybe it's good to put off some of the material things to get the things that you need, like a house. Last thing, this young man here, I didn't know who he was, but he was giving you a standing ovation the whole time you were talking. The reason why I brought this out is that's her son. So now she's going to teach him to save. He's going to have a better life. When he gets to be a man, he'll be able to teach his children. That's what it's all about. They'll buy a house. And so I am pleased that Commissioner Koshinen, who's a very good friend of mine, the head of IRS, we've attracted him today. This is the #1 guy at IRS. Give him a hand. Come on, he's going to be up in a minute. So when you get all them notices and you get the audit and all that, this is the guy. When you get your check, this is the guy. Don't come to me. Then we've got Peter Francho, who of course is here, and Peter, he's our comptroller, and I'm so glad he's here. And we've got Jack Young, our city council president. I know you're going to introduce all of them, but I'm going to take this job off your hand. I'm going to introduce my colleague, because I know he'll pick up where I didn't cover everything. But I want us to understand how important this event is. And there's one other thing that I forgot to say that April did not say. She has now, I'm sure, now April, I'm not even gonna look around. You can nod your head if I'm right. I'll bet you April done told at least 30 or 40 people about this program. Come on, there we go. See that, and that's important. That's important, that she spread that word. She's got relatives that probably are taking advantage of this program that never even knew it. And so basically, we've got to continue to do that. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce my colleague. And I tell people he's one of my best friends in the Congress because he truly cares. These kinds of things mean something to him. And the reason why, Sarah, I'm glad you all set it up the way you set it up, because I wanted the IRS commissioner to hear what Sarbanes and I hear all the time. I wanted him to hear the things that feed our souls. I wanted him to hear the things that make us go out and get out there every day, work hard to make a difference for our constituents. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague from the 2nd Congressional District, John Sarbanes.
Second. Third. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm going to be brief. It's always a privilege and an honor, and sometimes it's a burden to follow Elijah Cummings because he's such a good speaker. So there's often not a lot to say. But I want to thank Sarah Johnson. Congratulations on 16 years and for your long time involvement with the CASH campaign. Reverend Hathaway, Congressman Cummings couldn't have said it better in terms of how you lift up this community in our city every single day. It comes from the heart. That's clear. Making this place a tax preparation site, committing to that, and wanting to increase the numbers every year reflects the commitment that you bring. April, I'll come back and talk about you in a minute because you're the star of the show here, and that's the way it ought to be. But I also want to salute our Commissioner, John Koskinen, for being here. We thank him for that. Our Controller, Peter Francho. Tisha Edwards is here on behalf of Mayor Pugh, who I know is very committed to this program, and of course, City Council President Jack Young. And we're all here because the CASH campaign is so critical. You look at some of these numbers, $200 million in terms of what's come back, $15 million saved for people. Because this is a free tax preparation service. And I think Reverend Hathaway was the person who used the word exploited on the front end, how so many communities around the country and here in Baltimore can get exploited by unscrupulous people, including tax preparers that come at them with a sweet deal where they take a huge commission. This is a free tax service, and it's a tax service that you can trust, right? I mean, you can trust them to do the job well. The numbers support that, but you can also trust them to do it in a way that lifts you up instead of lifting up the tax preparer, and that's why that's so critical. As Congressman Cummings said, as much as this is about making sure we get that earned income tax credit, that people can fully take advantage of that, get the money that's coming to them, it's even more so about the hope that's created when you start to understand what your assets can be, when you start to save. And that's what April's story is all about. She's taken her life to a different place, her ability to lift up those around her, because she started to save and she started to be empowered. When you take people who are being exploited to a place where they are being empowered, you're not just making that happen for that individual, you're lifting up their family, you're lifting up their community. This is about empowerment. You know, it's odd in some ways that we joke about it. We bring the IRS commissioner here, and we're talking about empowerment, right? But that's what this is. When people get the dollars that are coming to them, and then they have the opportunity through the financial literacy resources and the other training that the CASH campaign can provide to convert those dollars into the savings, to create the assets, to get the hope, to build their dream, to seek a future, then it means that this undertaking is working. So I want to thank the CASH campaign. I want to come back and just say one other thing. Elijah Cummings is a treasure for our community, and I'd just like to say that one more time. There was an article in the paper today, I hope you all read, about how he's fighting for our democracy every single day, and he's a true leader for all of us in Congress. But let me finish with April by thanking her for what she did, and thanking the CASH campaign for lifting up April, because in lifting up April, you've helped April turn around, lift up her family, lift up this community, and lift all of us up. So thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. We are really delighted to have the IRS Commissioner Koskinen join us today. This is not his first time visiting our press conference, so he's back. He's a repeat guest. Welcome anytime. We appreciate you crashing our party. I will say we work really closely with SPEC, which is the department within the IRS that is sort of our teammate in all of this delivery, and they are a wonderful team. So if the SPEC folks could raise their hand real quick, I just want to thank them so much for supporting us. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate the Commissioner being here. So without further ado.
Sarah, thanks very much for pulling all of this together. I'm delighted to be here. As Sarah noted, I was here 3 years ago. I'd been commissioner for about a month when we came again to launch our annual outreach campaign, promoting awareness here and around the country about the importance and significance of the Earned Income Tax Credit Program. And I'd like to thank everyone here, particularly Congressman Sarbanes and Congressman Cummings for joining us, and Reverend Hathaway for hosting us in a wonderful facility. And it, as Congressman Cummings was noting, it's not just a facility. It's a group, it's a people, it's a center in the community that does great work. So it's a pleasure for me to be here. In particular, I'm delighted to be back. 3 years ago, I met Congressman Cummings for the first time. And as some of you may have noticed, in my 3.5 years at the IRS, there have been a small number of people in the House of Representatives thought perhaps I should quit being the IRS commissioner. And I've had no better friend, no better supporter, no better advocate to rely upon than Congressman Cummings. He's gone far beyond the call of duty, defending the IRS, defending me personally. And I just am delighted to have an opportunity in his home district to thank him personally for that. I could not have had a better advocate or a better friend. So I also want to say a special word of thanks to Sarah and everyone connected with Baltimore CASH for partnering with the IRS and for all the great work they're doing to help low and moderate income people. And I was delighted to hear and listen to April and her story. April, you've done so well, I think I'm going to ask you to give me financial planning advice, because you clearly know how to do it as we go. So, for more than 40 years, the Earned Income Tax Credit has made life better for American workers and their families. It's an extremely important anti-poverty credit that helps millions of people every year. Last year, 27 million individuals and families received a total of more than $67 billion by claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit. On average, more than $2,400 a household, and here in Maryland, as you know, 412,000 families in Maryland alone received a total of nearly $1 billion across the state. But as good as the numbers are, they could be better, and that's why we're all here today. Even though 4 out of 5 eligible workers and families benefit from the Earned Income Tax Credit, millions more miss out because they don't know or don't realize that they are eligible for coverage. And that's why we're here, as I say, and we have an EITC Awareness Day going on around the whole United States. We have 97 events going on today around the country trying to increase the public awareness of the importance and the availability of the Earned Income Tax Credit. This year, we're making a special effort to get the message out to a number of groups we found are at risk of missing out on the Earned Income Tax Credit. So I want to remind everyone, workers who qualify must file their income tax return, even if they're not otherwise required, because it is, in fact, a tax credit. There are some easy ways people can figure out if they're eligible. They can use Free File or a tax software package, which will help them claim the credit. And anyone, as noted, Sarah noted, with $54,000 a year of earnings or less, should use our EITC assistant tool on irs.gov, which will help them determine whether they're eligible or not. And then, as we've talked here, there are free tax preparation help available for low-income taxpayers, older Americans and people with disabilities, and those with limited proficiency in English. The IRS supports more than 12,000 volunteer income tax assistance and tax counseling sites around the country. Last year, we had almost 100,000 volunteers working in those sites, preparing taxes for free and giving people advice and encouraging people to participate when eligible in the Earned Income Tax Credit. So there are dedicated VITA volunteers here. They're working in Union Baptist Church. They're working throughout Baltimore. And due to their efforts and the coalition partners like CASH, we hope that we'll be able to increase the coverage and the participation in the Earned Income Tax Credit even more. There are a couple important changes that I think everyone should be aware of regarding tax returns containing the Earned Income Tax and additional child tax credit. There's a new law that requires us to hold refunds claiming these credits until February 15th. But that doesn't mean people should wait till file until then. Taxpayers claiming these credits should file as they normally do. We'll begin releasing those refunds for the credits on February 15th, and people should have access to those refunds no later than the week of February 27th. The difference is, of course, we release the refund, it goes through the financial management services at Treasury, then it goes to the banks, and there's going to be a lot of refunds all at one time, and the banks have to allocate to their accounts. But I realize people may choose to get an advance on their refund this year because of the delay by taking out a loan, and I would just again encourage people to be careful. Make sure you go to, if you're going to do that, a reputable either preparer or someone offering that loan. Don't go to somebody on a street corner who, like some untrustworthy preparers, may charge you a lot more than that loan is worth as we go. The reason for the delay, Congress gave us a requirement of business to give us W-2s earlier in January, or by January 31st, rather than March or April, so that we could protect taxpayers, particularly Earned Income Tax Credit recipients, against identity theft and refund fraud. And we could help ensure that everybody got the appropriate and right amount of payment in their return. So we appreciate that support from the Congress. So finally, I want to assure everyone that everyone at the IRS, the entire workforce, stands ready to provide as much assistance as possible to help taxpayers. Sometimes, as I've told the press, one of my goals is to have people understand that a significant portion of the IRS workforce spends their time trying to help taxpayers. So it may take me a while to convince you we're here from the IRS and we're here to help you, but we do spend a lot of time reaching out into the community in programs like this to help people. And don't forget, we also have wonderful volunteers here in Baltimore and around the country at sites are ready to help people file their taxes and determine whether they're available and it's eligible for the earned income tax credit. So again, it's my pleasure to be back, and my pleasure to join all of you, and in particular, my thanks again to Congressman Cummings.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. You know, as the Commissioner said, the tax code may feel confusing and frustrating for some people, and they are here to help, as are we. And the important change about this refund delay is certainly a message we want to get out to people and encourage them to come to us for free and still file. You know, we get a lot of calls from the constituent service folks. So to the folks here on the stage, please know we love working with your teams. They are wonderful. We appreciate the calls from people in the community. You're directing them our way. Thank you so much. I see a lot of your staff here, so thank you very much, because we do follow up and make sure everyone gets the help they need. I'd like to introduce Maryland Comptroller Peter Francho, who is a big friend of Baltimore CASH and Maryland CASH, and we are so grateful for your support and involvement in our work every year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I listened to the IRS commissioner. It's a big deal to have him here. He's the big tax collector. I'm just a little tax collector, but he mentioned somewhat in passing that he kind of liked to have April help him with his own personal finances. Reminded me of when I got elected 10 years ago. My wife, who was very surprised that I got elected, because obviously I was running against William Dallas Schaefer, who was somewhat of an icon, but I was lucky, I won. She said, well, what does the comptroller do? I said, dear, I'm now going to be the chief fiscal officer of the state of Maryland, and I'm in charge of the state's financial books. She said, well, God help the state of Maryland if you're in charge of the books, because not very good shape in our household here, but it resonated with me when April said, I'm not rich. I don't own a mansion, but I'm happy. Why is she happy? She's happy because she has a strategy and a game plan. And I emphasize this issue to people because I think it's at the root of all happiness if we can give our people the tools and the skills so they can develop, like April has, strategies about their financial security. It removes that sense of helplessness that leads to all sorts of frustration and friction and unhappiness. So think of financial literacy not as a civil right, perhaps, but as a silver right. Everybody should have that right. And I see Reverend Hathaway, who couldn't agree with Congressman Cummings more, does the work of the Lord by going out to this economically challenged neighborhood and community and delivering hope. But we, on the government side, need to deliver something to help Reverend Hathaway. We asked the Reverend to go down to Prince George's County recently with a group from Baltimore City to look at their game-changing finance academy built by the private sector right outside Washington, D.C., where 30,000 eighth grade kids in Prince George's school system are going to receive a 14-lesson curriculum taught by their public school teachers, where the public school system's partnering with the private sector to get their kids once a year for a week to a finance academy built by Capital One Bank, staffed by junior achievement private sector volunteers, where the kids get to implement what they've learned in the classroom about what a debt is, what mortgage is, what the utility bill is, how to negotiate an automobile loan and a mortgage. I can't tell you. I mean, April should be running one of those academies. She had to do it through the School of Hard Knocks, like we all did, because nobody's really taught us. I still kind of don't understand what Well, I don't want, I'm the comptroller, I should understand all that stuff. But we owe it to the citizens of Baltimore City to build a world-class, unbelievably beautiful and impressive finance academy where every young person in the Baltimore City school system gets the opportunity to not only receive the curriculum, but also go for a week where they can actually implement what they learned. And the kids, trust me, it's like water on a desert when you give them this information, because they know it's crucial to their success. And April, thank you for summarizing it for me, because I know a lot of rich people who are not happy because they lack a strategy. I have less concern about them because at least they have some money, even if they're wasting it. What I'm concerned about are folks that Cash interacts with and that Reverend Hathaway does so much help for. People that literally, it's life or death. And it's happiness or violence and bitterness. And so to the extent, Reverend Hathaway, the group that you brought down with you, if we could work, I know Congressman Cummings and Congressman Sarbanes have a lot on their plate in Washington, but getting a partnership with a big bank, and there are quite a few of them in Baltimore, and getting Cash to involve themselves, and April, you're gonna be the captain of the ship, build something out there that is world-class, big league, major league, something that people come from all around the country to visit because it's so beautiful. I want to put it right down next to that casino. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to get involved in that. So let me just, I got off my script here. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware how special it is to have the IRS commissioner here, and how special, obviously, what a special asset Congressman Cummings is. And my heart goes out to his staff person who had that terrible tragedy. And I just commend the congressman for the way in which he handled it. And, so, you know, I hear Sarbanes all the time get up and say, hey, I'm following Congressman Cummings. Boy, it's really tough act to follow. My problem, because I'm not as good. Hey, he's just as good, and he's a little bit younger. So he's going to be around for a good long time, and following in the footsteps of his dad. So let me just say quickly that along with all of these earned income tax credit issue that we're talking about and how important it is to get everybody interacted in it, it's even more important to avoid these tax preparers who are well, let's just be honest, they're criminals. And they get attracted to the Earned Income Tax Credit program because they see it as, you know, it's not like Willie Sutton said, I robbed banks because that's where the money is, right? What about if Willie Sutton said, I robbed banks because I can walk into the bank and the vault is open and I can walk into the vault and take the money and walk out and nobody ever arrests me? Think about that. Well, that's the tax fraud issue, and the IRS commissioner and I are working very hard on that. Yesterday, the Attorney General, Brian Frosch, and I announced 4 indictments against 4 individuals who were tax preparers who collectively were robbing the state of $200,000 from the program that's supposed to benefit people. That's right. So I don't know what will happen to those individuals. They're going to be in the court system, but I can tell you pretty much right now that there are a lot of, unfortunately, those people attracted around this area because the technology that we use to get $2.5 billion back to Marylanders within 2 business days of receiving your electronically filed return, putting your money in your bank account. We're doing that right now. We've already processed a couple of 100,000 in the tax week. That can be penetrated by thieves and used to collect illegal tax refunds. And it's a big problem. The commissioner's dealing with it. We're really dealing with it in heading it off. But the key missing piece of the puzzle was bringing some people to justice who were perpetrating this because they were making money off the state and they were taking it from the very desperate people who need it. And yesterday's announcement by General Frosch and myself, I think, is a good deterrent. And stay tuned on that, because we're going to use technology to defend our citizens. Anyway, I've spoken way too long. Sarah, thank you for what you do. The CASH program is just indisputably terrific. I was with Jack Young in Annapolis on Wednesday when he was down there picking up $5 million for Baltimore City to air condition their schools. And Jack, thank you for your leadership on that. And to the mayor, what a breath of fresh air. I mean, seriously, because, you know, she's coming in with a whole new perspective. And thank her for me personally for looking after the kids. All the best.
Thank you so much. I'd like to ask Tisha Edwards to come to the stage and say a few words. We are also, Baltimore Cash is very excited to work with Mayor Pugh and Tisha and the team in Baltimore City. So thank you so much. We look forward to working with you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have on my high heels, and I'm still not tall enough for these guys. Is it okay? Yeah. Great. All right, thank you, Sarah, for your commitment to Baltimore. And of course, Reverend Hathaway, we go way back, and it's great to see you doing what you do and doing it so well. I also want to express our appreciation for the mayor's colleagues and other political figures here, Congressman Elijah Cummings, Congressman John Sarbanes, IRS Commissioner John Koshkin, Comptroller Pete Frencho, and our partner in City Hall, City Council President Jack Young. This is absolutely representative of our city and our state's commitment to the Baltimore CASH Campaign. And I'm especially inspired by April this morning. I'm in line right behind the commissioner and the comptroller for financial training courses because I have a son who's getting ready to go to college, so I need your advice on how to make that happen. April, you are just a great example of why this program is so important to our community. It is really a pleasure to be here this morning on behalf of Mayor Catherine E. Pugh to celebrate National Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day and to announce that as a part of the 16th year to keep your money campaign. I love that. We all want to keep our money. Right, Commissioner? The 16th Keep Your Money campaign, we are expanding our free tax prep footprint into even more communities. Mayor Pugh has been a major supporter of the Earned Income Tax Credit because we want to put more money back into the pockets of hardworking families all across Baltimore. We know that every dollar counts, and far too often, low-wage earners miss out on larger refunds because they utilize costly commercial tax preparation services. Everyone who made less than $54,000 in 2016 may be eligible to have their taxes prepared and e-filed for free, which is why it's so important we keep sharing the benefits of the Baltimore CASH Campaign and the Earned Income Tax Credit. For the past 16 years, the Baltimore CASH Campaign has prepared and filed more than 112,000 tax refunds for free, putting, as our guests have said, more than $205 million in refunds back in the hands of taxpayers, and tax credits back into the pockets of hardworking families. This work has also saved these families more than $15 million in unnecessary fees. The Baltimore CASH Campaign is providing the financial education tools that families can use to grow and better utilize the money that they earn. That means free e-file and tax prep services by IRS certified volunteers. They are even helping residents open bank accounts and buy savings bonds, as April has talked to about this morning, receive housing counseling, and access to college aid. This is a powerful resource for our community. And with me, I have a proclamation from Mayor Pugh to officially recognize the importance of this day. This is her proclamation, and it says, the Baltimore CASH Campaign is a coalition of nonprofit government agencies and businesses that work to promote financial stability and strong financial futures for low-income working families in Baltimore. And whereas the CASH Campaign focuses on helping families maximize their financial future by offering various educational and asset-building services, conducting marketing and outreach around the Earned Income Tax Credit, providing free tax preparation services, and connecting clients to wealth creation resources. And whereas now in its 16th year, the Baltimore CASH Campaign has prepared and filed, as I said, over 112,000 tax returns, resulting in more than $200 million in refunds to working families and individuals right here in Baltimore. And whereas throughout the past 16 years, the Baltimore CASH Campaign has impacted the lives of thousands of people who have received free tax preparation services, saving them an estimated $17 million in tax preparation fees. Therefore, I, Catherine E. Pugh, Mayor of the City of Baltimore, do hereby proclaim January 27th, 2017 as National Earned Income Tax Credit Awareness Day in Baltimore, and do urge all citizens to take advantage of this free service.
Thank you very much. That's really lovely. Unexpected. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome City Council President Jack Young, who's also been a tremendous partner with us and a supporter. Always has me come to speak with City Council, and is really great, I will say, about making sure that any issues that he hears about in the community come directly to us. So again, thank you so much for helping be our eyes and ears to get things taken care of.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Time been well spent. You heard everything from all of the speakers before me. There's nothing really else that I can add, but I want to thank Reverend Hathaway and Lady Hathaway for opening up the doors of this great branch of Zion. And I want to thank the CASH Campaign, all the volunteers, all the partners who continue to give up their time and service to help people. I was sitting back there just like everybody else. When April started talking, I said, wow. And I was like, Congressman Cummings, I hope she didn't spend them bonds to go buy something that she didn't need. But when she said she went to buy a house, I was just so elated that she was able to use what she learned from the CASH Campaign to better herself financially. So, Sarah, to you and your group and your team, on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, we want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. So again, Reverend Hathaway, thank you very much. We are excited to kick off tax season today. Our doors are open. Please tell a friend you've got a flyer on your chair. If you don't have one, catch one on the way out to make sure you help spread the word. We have a lot more work to do, and we look forward to working with the mayor and her team on additional work around financial inclusion and financial security. We really believe it is the path to closing the racial wealth divide and really lifting up our city. And so we really look forward to future work together. And thank you very much for coming, and thank you for partnering with us.